Okay, so today we're going to be focusing all about internal rotation. So thinking about the femur, this big thigh bone, rotating towards the body. Literally feeling it from that ball and socket joint. So you might want to just quickly try this now. You know that I talk about internal and external rotation all the time. So if you're not 100% sure, there's loads of videos on my Instagram, on our members area to help you understand a little bit more. Okay, we're going to start down on our mats. So come all the way down, and just allow the feet to come out to the edges of the mat and knock your knees in. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Close down the eyes and just breathe here. Just feeling yourself settling into the practice. Almost imagining that movement, moving that femur inwards, rotating from that ball and socket joint, rotating that ball within the socket, rotating it towards the body for your internal hip rotation. Okay. Start to open up your eyes and hug your knees in towards your chest. Okay, plant this left foot down so you've still got a bend in that knee, and take this right leg at 90-degree angle so you've got your knee and your hip, and then your right foot is flexed. And then we're going to take, without moving this knee, just moving from this hip joint, so you can place maybe your right hand right in that hip crease, your left hand on that knee to keep it stable, and all we're going to do is take this right foot outwards and back to center. Really feeling that movement from the hip, just starting to get used to this movement. It might be super strange really isolating it like this. Make sure you're still breathing. You've just got your natural curve of your spine in that lower back. Just making sure that you can really connect to that movement from the hip and it's not coming just from that knee. Really nice. Just notice and pay attention to how much internal rotation you have here. We want it to be at about 40 degrees, which is a little bit hard to visualize. Okay, switch over to the side, place back. Just notice here if one is easier than the other. Keep going nice and slowly, no need to rush at all. Just come back and you feel like you're maybe just starting to forget where you're moving, what the point of the movement is. Really nice. Okay, take both feet down to the ground. We're going to come into eagle legs now. If you can only cross your foot over, that is absolutely fine. Really feel this connection between the thighs. Squeeze everything towards the central line of that body, so running all the way up and down. If not, we're going to hug all of that right foot round behind that left calf and take the feet off of the ground. And then we're going to take this right knee over to the left in this eagle twist, taking this right arm out to the side, grounding through that right shoulder. Maybe you've got this left hand onto that right thigh, gazing out over to the right side. Feeling both thighs, both femurs, both hip bones, rotating inwards here. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Switching over to the other side. So again, crossing this left foot over. Maybe you just get that cross and that's fine. Or maybe you can wrap that left foot all the way round behind that right calf. And then again, taking that left knee over to the right. Taking the left arm out to the left, gazing left. Maybe the right hand is on top of that left thigh, just coming into that twist even more. But making sure that that left shoulder stays grounded all the time. Really nice. And inhale, coming all the way back up to center. Hug the knees in. Either rock and roll up to all fours or come over to your side, however you want to get there. And once you're there, like I said, everybody into your all fours, coming into that internal rotation again. So in your all fours, we're going to just work on our right leg to start with. So we're going to be taking this right foot out to the right side of the mat and back, out to the side and back. So again, we're working that thigh inwards. Keep going, keep pushing the mat away with the hands. Keep these fleshy bit of the elbows facing towards one another. And really try to make sure that this lower back is nice and neutral, using that breath the whole time. Okay, other side. Taking that left foot out to the left side. Really nice. 3 more. 2 and 1. Good job. Okay, coming back into your all fours. Okay, now we're going to be taking our knees together, feet together. Either, depending on how your knees are, we're going to come into hero's pose or into plantar stretch. So if you know that your knees are an absolute no-go area for folding backwards, come into your plantar stretch, so you're tucking your toes under, sinking back like so. If you're coming into your hero's pose, you're taking these feet to the outside edges of the hips and sinking the bum down. Keeping these knees hugging in towards one another, so you've got this internal hip rotation. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you can walk these hands back, coming down to the forearms. Keeping those knees together. As soon as they start to splay outwards, you know that that's a sign that you need to just relax where you are. If you feel comfortable here, maybe you can lie all the way down. Wherever you are, just hold this here for 5 breaths. One more big inhale. Exhale. If you're all the way down, just slowly prop yourself back up onto the forearms and coming all the way back into your all fours. Really, really nice. Okay, from your all fours, coming down to the ground, whether you want to come through your full chaturanga or keep your knees down. If your knees are down, just have them slightly behind those hips, and then exhale the whole of the torso down to the ground at the same time. Forehead down, internal rotation of those legs into our cobra big. Inhale, draw the shoulders back. So what we want here is our heels drawing straight up. So rather than folding out to the sides, our heels are driving straight up to the sky. Exhale down. Inhale up. Just notice here also, if you're somebody that you really engage these glutes, if that turns you into external rotation, so your heels drop inwards and your toes point outwards, because that's definitely with me. Make sure that your pelvis is nice and tucked. And down. And one final time, big inhale, cobra. Again, just find that tuck of the pelvis. Find that efficient engagement of the glutes that keeps you in neutral or slightly internal with those legs. Okay, forehead all the way back down, coming into your downward dog, either pushing all the way up through your plank or through your all back into your downward. Really nice. Okay, you know all the cues. You're pushing through the thumb, the index finger, internally rotating the forearm, externally rotating the biceps, separating the shoulder blades, head is hanging. You're breathing, you're sending that tailbone high. Maybe you've got those knees bent and heels off of the ground to keep that tailbone driving high. Big in, leg dog, right leg high. We've got an internal rotation at the moment because our toes are facing down. And then come into external rotation, so toes facing outwards, toes face down, and out, and down. Really nice. And out, and down. Just notice when the glutes engage, when you're turning your toes out for external, that it really helps. Okay, stay in your internal, and then step right leg all the way through to the front. not all the way through to your hands because we're coming into a really short distance pyramid here. But I want both feet facing forward. Inhale, really lengthen through the tailbone, crown of the head long. And then you're folding forward, maybe your hands are on blocks, making sure that you're hinging from those hips. Just check with one of your hands that your hips are nicer in line. You might need to pull this right hip socket back. Feel free to bend through those legs. Okay, we're going to be taking the weight through the front leg and we're coming all the way up. Left knee drawing up into the chest, hands into the chest, really nice. Make sure that you're activating this standing leg so we don't wobble. And then we're going to come into our eagle pose. Again, maybe this left leg is just crossed over, or maybe that left foot tucks underneath that right calf. Sinking down here as much as you can. Sinking down. If you want to take your eagle arms as well, absolutely feel free to here. Really nice. Inhale, unravel all the way back up into your stork pose. Taking this left leg straight back in through your low lunge, planting your hands down, stepping back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high, three-leg dog. Remember, you've got internal rotation at the moment because the toes are facing straight down. External rotation, toes facing out. And down, really feel this movement just from the hip socket. Keep going. Moving from external to internal. Now, if this is super uncomfortable on those hips, just keep in this three-leg dog with your internal rotation, so the toes facing down. For some people, this can feel a bit grinding on their hips. Okay, come back to your internal and step this leg all the way through to the front. Slightly shorter stance than your low lunge, coming into those toes facing forward for your pyramid. Check that your hips are in line. Maybe you have to pull this left hip socket back in space. If you've got those legs straight, really work those knees pulling up through the quads. Hinging from the hip joint. Making sure you've got a nice straight long back. Taking the weight through this left leg, coming all the way up into our stork pose. And then into your eagle pose, bending this left leg, wrapping the right leg, maybe just crossing or finding that space to wrap the foot around the back of that calf. And sinking down. Really nice. Inhale, unravel back to your stork pose. And then exhale, right leg all the way back, low lunge. Plant the hands, step this left leg straight back into facing dog. And again, inhale, right leg high, three-leg dog. Exhale, this time step straight through into your low lunge. And then all the way up into your high lunge again. Internal rotation. Bending that back leg, making sure we've got the least amount of curve in that lower back. Inhale, stork pose, left leg high. Exhale into those eagle legs again. Inhale, stork pose. Exhale all the way back, low lunge. Plant the hands, this time coming through our vinyasa or straight back into your downward facing dog. Whatever you want to do. Meeting back in our downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high, three-leg dog. Exhale, tiger curl, left leg all the way through to the front, low lunge. Inhale, high lunge. Next, inhale, coming up into our stork pose. And exhale, eagle legs. Really trying to find these square hips to the front, sinking all the way down as far as you can go. Inhale into your stork. Exhale, low lunge, hands down through your vinyasa or straight back, downward facing dog. Everybody downward facing dog, really nice. Okay, and again, inhale, three-leg dog, right leg high. Exhale all the way through, low lunge. into your high lunge, into your stalk pose. This time taking this left leg down and coming straight into our chair pose. Hands come high. Really draw these thighs in towards one another. Again, the least amount of curve in that lower back. Think about that rib cage being contained. Exhale, forward fold, really nice. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping, hopping, coming back into your chaturanga, through your vinyasa, meeting back in our downward facing dog. 3-leg dog, left leg high. Exhale, all the way through, low lunge. Inhale, high lunge. And coming up into our stalk pose. All the way down, chair pose, hands high, sinking down. Can you see your toes? Can you wiggle your toes? Holding here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, forward fold, really nice. Inhale, halfway, nice long back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Okay, stepping this left leg straight back now. Our wide leg standing fold is internal legs versus our seated fold, which is external. So we have our toes slightly tucked here. Hands onto our hips, just in that hip crease, so we can really feel that fold. Big inhale, lift the heart through, gazing up. And then exhale, folding from the hip creases, so we're sticking our bum out. And then coming all the way down into our wide leg fold, whatever that looks like for us. Maybe you've got bent knees. Maybe your hands are on blocks. Maybe you're coming down to your forearms. Maybe you're holding your ankles. Wherever you are, really work their weight into the front of the foot. That helps that dorsiflexion, which helps the lengthening of the hamstrings. With every inhale, feel that length shooting through the vertebrae. And every exhale, see if you can fold from the hips just that ever so slightly more. Really nice. Inhale, halfway plant, hands straight down in front of your face. Just breathe here, really, really nice. And then walk the hands back to the front of the mat, planting them in your low lunge. Stepping this right leg straight back, maybe your knees are down, and we're making our way all the way down to the ground, really nice. Okay, coming through half bow and then into full bow. So come up into your Sphinx pose, forearms flat down on the ground, palms flat down, elbows underneath the shoulders. Now we're going to just slightly take this left arm so it's slightly diagonal to give us a bit more balance, and then we're going to take this right leg up, take our right arm back to the outside of that foot, flexing that right foot, and then we're going to draw the energy through that foot, driving the heel up, keeping that right shoulder square. We want internal rotation here, so our knee is facing down and our foot is facing straight up. Breathing here, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Coming back into your Sphinx, or maybe coming down to your crocodile with your palms on top of one another. And then coming onto the other side, so the right hand slightly diagonal. Bending up this left leg, taking the left arm round, flexing this left foot, keeping this knee drawing down rather than splaying out to the side. And then lift, really using that force from the hand pulling the foot, foot pulling the hand. Breathing here. Keep sending that chest higher. Really nice. 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Everybody come into crocodile just for a couple of breaths. And then coming into our full bow if you feel ready. Bending up the legs, flexing those feet, taking the hands. Inhale, drive the legs up. Really pull this chest up, taking this gaze just in front of the mat. Keep those knees pulling in towards one another like we're in bridge pose. Really nice. 3, 2, and 1. All the way down back into that crocodile. Hands underneath your shoulders, pushing all the way up and back into our closed knees, child's pose. Taking the hands behind us. Maybe your head is resting on a block. Keeping those knees hugging in towards one another. Keeping your knees hugging in towards one another. Now feel free to stay here or coming into camel, our last bit of push. So we're going to be taking our knees so that they're hips width distance apart, tucking our toes, internal rotation. So again, don't let these knees drop out to the side. We want them directly underneath these hip bones. Taking our hands behind. I like to have my fingers facing straight down. That feels really supportive on my back. Big inhale, you're thinking about this chest lifting, you're slightly gazing up, we're not dropping this head back really dramatically, and you don't want to be bending from this lower back. So you're almost like you're doing a big kind of like back flip, like a big wheel rather than just plonk. Okay, big inhale, lift, 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 lift. Before you even take any of that weight back, keep the thighs forward. We want our thighs in line with the knees at all times. Maybe you take the hands onto the heels, but only if you keep the hips driving forward, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another. This is going to be our only time we're here. 3, 2, and 1. Really nice. Hands back on that lower back, slowly coming up, tucking the chin to the chest all the way down. Just coming back to seating, just coming back to sitting, closing down the eyes. Breathing here. Really nice. Really starting to cool down now. We're going to come onto one hip so we can swing these legs all the way forward. Coming into our forward fold, so our feet are straight out, toes are flexed, so that we've got this dorsiflexion. We're really pulling the front foot back towards us, and we're thinking about the knees straight up, so we don't want our feet to be going out to the side. They're not splaying out to the side. We're really activating our quads, drawing our knees up, so you can almost see that my heels are off of the ground. Now feel free to bend through those knees. Remember, have a block if you're somebody that slumps. Create this space, lifting yourself up with that block, so we're almost coming into this anterior tilt, sticking our bum out. Inhale, lift. Have your hands at your hip creases like we've been doing the whole class, and then exhale, you're folding from these hip creases. Keep sticking that bum out. Keep these feet flexed. So with folding from the hip creases rather than compromising that back, we're probably not going to be able to fold as much as you usually do or want to do. Keep breathing, really nice. Final couple of breaths. 3, 2, and 1. All the way up, really nice. Taking this right leg, bending it up over the left so that foot is grounded onto the floor. Taking this arm onto that right thigh, taking our right arm behind us. Big inhale, lift, and exhale, twist. Think about that length, crown of the head high, tailbone down. Spinning that left rib cage round to the right side. Sitting up really nice and tall. Inhale all the way back round. Switching over to the other side, taking this left leg up and over. Right hand onto that left thigh. Left hand behind us. Inhale, lift before we think about twisting. Right rib cage round to the left. Maybe you're gazing behind you, gazing past that left shoulder. Breathing here. Exhale all the way back round, and slowly making your way down to the ground. Feet out to the sides again. Allow those knees to knock inwards. Just like we started, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Connect back with that breath, really nice big inhales and exhales. Maybe you've already got the eyes closed down. Really slowly hug both knees. Come in, Shavasana, taking their legs out long. Hands beside us, palms facing up. And really let go here. You can allow those feet to fall out to the side. Allow that belly to rise and fall. Finding that stillness here on your mat, just by focusing on that breath and nothing else. You're in this safe space that you have created just for you. Start to bring some movement back into your body, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers. Big stretch fingers and toes as far away from one another as possible. Bend up your knees. Roll over to whatever side feels comfortable, using that bicep as a pillow. And ever so slowly coming all the way up into your easy seat, keeping the eyes closed. Hands onto your thighs, palms facing up. And just allow yourself just to remember that internal rotation, whether you found it easy or difficult, whether it felt unusual to you, because we want to make sure that we've got this full range of movement in all of our joints. So in our next lesson, we're going to be focusing on external rotation. Hands into your heart center, bow the chin to the chest, thumbs to the third eye. Really, really great class. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that that's helped you start to understand that relationship with our hips. And as always, please ask me any questions. Thank you so much for joining and being part of this community. It really, really means so much to me. Whenever you're ready, hands away from the eyes and blink the eyes open.